Hey, how you all doing? I thought I'd give you an update as to what I've been up to. Not been putting out as many videos lately, trying to focus on getting the work done. I've managed to improve the shut lines on my GMC quite a bit. Got the latch installed, got a hole, look at that, got the springs on as well so I don't have to use my stick to hold it up. Still got some tightening up to do and there's still definitely some scope on improving it, but I really am getting somewhere with that. I did manage to jam the thing shut at one point and couldn't open it. Had to take the grill off and use a screwdriver, but I think it's looking all right. I think they're very difficult to get right. All the glass in the side doors is in now. Got the winders installed. I did do some filming on that. I'll put a little sequence of that up in a minute. The driver's one in as well. Seats are all in, but I think you might have seen that. Wipers are on. I've had this fuel tank. It's from a later model Chevrolet. Probably a 2500 or, a 3/4 ton or something like that. I bought it off eBay or Facebook Marketplace. I can't even remember. I think it's about 75 litres, but it's brand new. Came in a box and whatnot. I've just got to move the brake line mount. I want to move that back a little bit, and then make up some brackets to hold it on. It's quite close to the park brake jazz here, but I think this bracket can be cut off and moved along. One of them's a spring return, and one of them's from the cable actuator what I'm using from the foot brake. That's from a Camaro. But yeah, I had stored a whole load of stuff on the back of it. I moved that all around so that I can get to the meat of this stuff, because I really want to get into getting this thing running. Got things interior like the heating and that to put in before I put the dash panels on. The glove compartment and whatnot. Make sure I'm not locking myself out. I put the platforms up there, put the wood up there. Balancing stuff on the framework felt a bit dangerous, so I'm going to put a wall up there, perhaps like a stud wall, and that area up that side. I'm thinking about using that for later on, maybe a little like studio area. Put some carpet up there and maybe some walls and a roof. Again, wait till I got some money. Been doing quite a lot of installation work on the English security side. Haven't done anything on the international except for store rubbish in the box. Just generally how it is. That's all my stuff out of my van for working. Such a dynamic space. Need to sort all my tools and spanners out. So many different trades I work in. 1 minute I'm cutting up timber and the next minute I'm welding stuff up. I ended up with a box full of stuff twice. I ordered the seal set for the windows twice. Kind of by mistake. I had a consignment come in from America and it got lost and I had to go back and ask for it. Anyway, I'd ordered it again, forgetting what I'd bought. So I've got 2 loads of I've got 2 lots of door seals. But anyway, I've got these, you try and figure out where everything goes and you're not really 100% sure. But anyway, these windows, these little door windows, wing windows I think you call them, they've all got to come out in order to get the seal out from behind there. And in order to do that, I've got to kind of hold this piece of channel. If you were to focus, yeah, I've got to hold that piece of channel whilst unscrewing something from the bottom. It's been soaking in WD-40 for a couple of days. And we just see how we get on with it. And I'm also going to have to do something to address this rustiness there. I never fully disassembled the door. I didn't feel the need to. So there's a nut on the bottom of that runner, and I can't kind of reach it because I've got 2 fat arms. So I've made an invention. I don't think that spanner's ever going to be the same again, but I think it might work. Sometimes getting a bolt out and not shearing it off is a real success. Hopefully this will come out now. Yeah, I think it will. So that's what I was trying to grab hold of. Just couldn't. In the end, it just like sprung its way off. Looks like I've got a little bit of rust to address. Hey look, you've got the original colour there. How about that? So that's the rubber pulled out. I kind of levered back that centre piece. And I'm now considering how the hell am I going to get that back in there. Is it even focused? So I'm now considering how am I going to get that back in there. But I'll give it a bit of clean up. There's some paint on there. Help protect it. Let that go off and I'll start putting these other bits in. I'm a little bit frustrated that I have to buy a proper little rivet thing for this, but it is what it is, right? So these pieces are for the little wing windows, and the wing windows, those seals are held on with these little hollow rivets, semi-hollow rivets. I can buy like the rivets and the tool sets. They're just a bit expensive, so I was just looking for options. So I've taken delivery of my rivets. You wouldn't think there's 100 in there, would you? I guess there is. Anyway, I'll be putting up the excess for sale because I found it really difficult to get hold of these. Quite a lot of research I had to do. The only ones I can find on eBay are like from China, and they're still quite expensive. I think you can buy the kits, but yeah, it is what it is. Right, so that's the old vertical seal out and the runner out as well. Combination of using the Dremel, the drill, and a flat disc on the grinder. So I'm now going to go ahead and give this a go with the Scotch-Brite. I'll give this a go with the Scotch-Brite and then dust some paint over it, mask these pieces off, of course, and get it ready to go in at some point. All cleaned up and painted with black. Paint it black and put it back. Most of it's not going to be seen, but I just wanted to cure the rust inside those runners before I put the seals in. I think it'll be alright. Maybe I'll give it another coat when that's gone off. This would be a very difficult thing for me to film with a GoPro, but basically you've got this element in the middle which you can sort of unpeel, like that piece. If you would focus that piece there, you can unpeel it, and it kind of works as a clamp. And then this weather stripping, you kind of have to slide it in, and it's a real ball ache. I'm using these pliers, pull it in, bit of soap, and there's no other way to describe it. I can't see another way of putting it in. I can't see how a tool might help, but it's just one of those ball ache things. And then you rip the rubber and it's all over. So when things aren't going right, you have to take a step back and pivot. So I found this tyre lever for a bicycle, and I've pushed it into the bottom, and I'm sort of wedging it in. It's like wedged in, tacked in if you like. But I think this tool's going to work. So I've got my frame set up, all painted, nice satin black. Can't get my drill to get these squares, so I've got this nice adaptionator which requires 2 hands to operate. So I've clamped it down to the bench. Well, that's the first couple in. So I've drilled through from this side down, and now I've got to drill from the other side up into this piece. I'll probably put 2 pilots in first. So the rubber thing has got holes in it already. That didn't need drilled, I thought it did. So I've sharpened up the end of a bit of stainless steel rod, welding rod, and I find that the tubular bit of the rivet will go on there. Use my handy dandy piece of wood. I kind of push it through, because the felt on the back of that kind of needs pushing through. This is the anvil what came with the little punch set I've got. once I've got them all in place, I need to set this up and take the little window open a bit and yeah, make it work so I can hammer it in. I've got one of them sort of tack hammered in. I think I want to go back to fabrication. You can't get the hammer in because of the frame, so I had this tool which I'd made for something else years ago. Just drilled a hole in the end of it so I can get a little bit of distance on it. So now I'm thinking that the layer of felt which is in there should have come out, put the rivets in and put the felt one over the top, but we'll see how it goes in. Oh, so that's fully assembled now. Boy, it's a fight every step of the way. And I think the rivet heads are a little bit bigger than what were in it originally, but it's all good. I guess it's reassuring that it takes a fair bit to get the rubber in there. And I guess this lip goes on the outside of the garnish mould, and on the, yeah, I guess you'd call that a garnish mould. Time to get that reinstalled, I think. So that's just set in there, and if you push it all the way in, it's not going to work. So it needs to be proud by a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to start taking it out one-handed because I don't want to drop it. I guess, yeah, so the plan is I'm going to use this to stick it in with. I've got 2 of these tubes, so I've got the 2 sides to do, and I'll put a bead inside there and then push it in. The other side had like a gasket in there, it just kind of pulled out, but I don't know if there's a gasket available, a seal, whatever you want to call it, a fitting kit. I managed to end up with 3 sets of door glass runners. Whatever, I don't know how that happened. I'll probably be able to adapt them for my international. But the point is, yep, clean this glass up. I'm not going to install that right now. I only got it out because I wanted to check if it's the same tint, which it is. Put that in there. So I'm going to install this, and I'm going to put both of the runners on the glass. Okay, so this is a window runner. It's what the little uppy downy bit goes into, and the window attaches in there. But I just wanted to take a second to admire it. I mean, you've got the stamping in there, USA. But this is steel, and it's all folded and hemmed and pressed. The amount of... You couldn't make that now. If you wanted one-off exactly made like that, it would be so tough to actually get that. 1951 this was made. They probably designed it in the mid-40s. Anyway. What a mess, hey? Well, I feel like it will come off the screen with a razor blade, so if I wait for it to go off and I cut around the edge, that'll be the way to go. It won't even be, apart from these little edge bits which will get in the runners, there's no point in really taking that off. There's quite a lot on that edge, I guess. So this is the exact way I saw the window fitter. My father, this part came off his XC90 on the passenger door, and the guy came out and we just stuck it back on. We kind of just made it work, and it's a polyurethane glue, and that's what I've got. JB Weld is a branded thing, I suppose. I was hoping for like a mastic tube of it, but no luck. I guess I'm not going to waste it though. I've used the better part of that tube on the two window runners and the light on this side. Hold that in place. I guess that trailing edge is going to be the important one to get right. So yeah, I guess just leave it alone now for a bit. I tell you what, working on these doors, assembling them, it does take a lot of effort. Do you know what I mean? And I hope I'm doing this around the right way, because yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and work on putting the seal on this part, which evidently needs stapled. Right, so the strip which goes on the garnish mould comes with these like staples, which I think are stainless steel. And how do you fold them over? I've got no idea. Just chewing it up. I've been at it for half an hour. So I looked in the drawer and I found these stainless steel M3 probably screws. And I'm just basically forcing them into the hole. They're self-tapping and holding it on and staying within the surface of the felt. So that's my plan. Decided I don't like working on assembling doors, but check it out. Got it working. I'm happy with that. This piece working too. All in place. So all that remains is to add a bit of lube to this piece. Put some Vaseline on there, I think. That knob needs a bit of Vaseline as well, something. But yeah, this is done. It's working. I am gonna fasten this aftermarket or whatever it is piece on there. I guess something you could probably buy from a store in the day when everything was like this. Yeah, I'm feeling happy about that. So that's the garnish mould on. That was a little bit of a fight, but it worked all right. These are actually the original screws. I'm pretty happy that I saved those and found them. I'm pretty happy with how it's all looking, actually. There's a little bit of something going on there. Don't know if it's a bit of rust coming up underneath since I've painted it, or just a paint defect. Window goes down nicely. And up again. It's a little bit tight, and I think that's to do with the bushing in there. But I'm not changing that right this very minute. So inside here, let me get the old that on. Can you see? There's a piece of metal there. Look, I'll put an arrow on the screen. It attaches to the door with these two screws, and then there's another screw up the top behind that piece of felt. And it's completely missing off that door. I went around there to see how it fits and everything like that, and it's like, yeah, gone. I don't think I took it off. I need to have a look in my bag of stuff. But that's a little bit annoying. Someone's taking that out. Whatever. But yeah, I reckon I've easily got 10 hours in just assembling this door, but I've learned quite a lot. And the runner's ready to go for the other side. I've had that triangle window, wing window, whatever you call it. I've had that in and out a bunch of times. I have to take it out in order to put this one in. Well, maybe you don't, but I did, so. Yeah. Well, Paul, thanks for sending this out to me. I really appreciate it. This, only realised last minute that this was missing. Only realised last week when I came to view this side to see, oh, is that installed properly? And then this side is missing. It's just like, oh, okay. So it's actually a nicely made piece. I guess those Koreans know what they're doing, hey? Just got to find some suitable screws for it. Shouldn't be hard. Need to address this problem. The little knurlings on the end of that spindle have been diminished, so need to see what I can do about that. Although, has someone put a screw hole in that in order to line it up? Maybe. So this is a prime example of how I over-engineer things in my head. I'm driving around and I'm thinking, how am I going to do that? Am I going to weld it, put a load of little bits of weld on the end of that spline and use the Dremel to make them into a nice little engaging gear looking thing? Or do I think like the guy back in the day who just drilled a little hole in the spindle for that screw to engage in, and now it works perfectly fine. Got the latch on. I think the spring's a little bit cattywampus in this one. Got the wing window stuck in. I feel like I'm going to leave it there for a bit. I have some other projects that I need to get on with, so I'm going to do that. JB Weld. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the videos, and I'll catch you next time. Later.